Today we'll be getting into what's coming to the parks in 2026. Hello and welcome to the Let's Go to Disney podcast. I'm Oliver.
And I'm Lucy.
Today is Sunday, January 4th, and you're listening to episode 121, a look ahead at the parks in 2026. Before we get into today's main topic, here's what's going on in the parks right now. It's still pretty slow news-wise, but one thing we haven't really mentioned since it was first announced is that Cinderella Castle is actually being repainted. So Disney said that this will start in January, so that's this month, right? So that's really soon. So you can expect to see cranes kind of popping up around the castle while this work is being completed, which isn't really great for your castle photo ops, right? But this is something that happens every time the castle gets a new paint job, so it's to be expected.
Yeah.
It's reverting back to its pre-50th anniversary color palette, so think more like gray tones. We really loved the pink hue that the castle has had over the last few years, but that's okay, right? She looks beautiful no matter what, so really it's all good.
Yeah. When
I first saw her, and it's funny, I'm saying her, but like she's beautiful. But yeah, when I first saw her, that was in 2014.
That's right.
And it was gray back then.
Was.
Like that was the kind of overarching color palette.
I'll have to look at our photos again. I can't even fully remember it, but I'll have to take a look at our 2014 photos just to get a visual again.
Exactly. And then when we first went again post-pandemic, that was 2022.
Yes.
And it was already pink at that point.
It was. So our kids have only ever known it as pink.
Yeah.
So it'll be a change that you'll probably notice right away. All you've been seeing is pink for the last
That's the thing.
while.
If you've only ever been post-pandemic, yes, absolutely. That's what you associate. So it will be different, but don't fret. Cinderella Castle is still stunning. Even in gray tones, we can attest to that.
Agreed.
For us, it's been pretty low-key, week back to work, post-holidays kind of thing.
Post-holidays, it was hard being back at work just because you just feeling like I could have stayed in my pajamas a little bit longer.
Yeah, totally. And then my sister and her husband flew out. That was Wednesday, and it feels like forever ago already. But, and the kids were still off school. So they were actually at your parents, so my in-laws, for Thursday and Friday. And on Friday, we had a date night.
We did. It was nice.
We went to see Anaconda, which was not great.
It was terrible.
Not great. I'm being generous. But yes, that's what we were up to on Friday. Aside from that, I've been getting everything ready for the marathon weekend trip. I fly out bright and early Monday for that, which is tomorrow. I have a 3-hour layover in Toronto, and I land in Orlando right around 3 p.m. So I'm likely going to actually take the Mears Connect this time, just because it's pretty cheap for one person. I think it's like $16 or $17.
Definitely worth it for one person, I think. Yeah,
on average, like an Uber is, between $40 and $60.
Absolutely.
So why not? I'm staying at Pop Century, so my plan is to head to Hollywood Studios just to check out the Little Mermaid show, actually, and the Villain show, because I've not seen either of those.
I know, that's exciting.
Yeah, and I'm probably gonna be there, so I'm just gonna stay for Fantasmic as well.
Oh, yeah.
And then Tuesday, I've got a park day just to myself. I'm gonna go to Magic Kingdom essentially. And then on Wednesday is the expo, and I'm meeting up with a friend for that. And we're likely gonna head into Magic Kingdom like later that afternoon and that night. And then Thursday through Sunday is the races, right? So 5K, 10K, half and full. And then I'm back the following Monday.
It'll fly by, I'm sure, for you.
It definitely will.
Yeah.
And those races are super early. Like anybody who's done a Run Disney events is well aware of this. If you're not, so the 5K, 10K, and the half all start at 5 a.m. So, that's like a 3 o'clock wake up time at the latest to try to get on a bus to get there. The buses start to run at 3 a.m. for those events.
Crazy.
And then the marathon actually starts at 4:30.
Woo.
And, it's so that essentially the parks are not bogged down by runners, like when they start to open.
Sense.
Yeah.
They still have to run a business as well,
Exactly.
Yeah, and because you're going to be gone, we're actually going to be doing 2 episodes this weekend.
That's right,
so we got a lot going on because you actually don't land until I think it's almost midnight the day you come back, Monday going into Tuesday.
That's right, yep.
So we won't actually have time to record that week's episode before it's supposed to air.
Correct, yeah.
And then outside of that, we did this last year for your solo trip. So my parents thankfully are going to be helping me out with the kids' activities, just because there are some that are just kind of like back to back that either one kid would have to miss or I would just be scrambling. So thank you, Mom and Dad, for helping me out this week coming up.
Everything's starting back up post-holidays.
It's going to be crunching. It'll be hard for our kids to get back to school.
For sure. And like you said, I'm super appreciative of the help as well. And you guys essentially holding out the fort while I'm off running in Walt Disney World.
Living his best life.
Yeah, exactly. So with that said, let's get into today's main topic, which will be a look ahead at what's coming to Walt Disney World in 2026. So it's no secret that there's a lot of construction going on pretty much all across property at the moment. There's several projects on the go, right? So the bulk of these are going to be open later than 2026, so like 2027 or later. So this is the Tropical Americas theme land at Animal Kingdom, the Cars and Villains areas at Magic Kingdom, and the Monsters Inc. land coming to Hollywood Studios. Today, we're really going to get into the next calendar year, or rather this calendar year, right? What's coming in and like around the parks for 2026 specifically. So it should give you a good idea into, what offerings are coming this year that are going to be available for your vacation if you're traveling this year.
Absolutely. And it's actually nice because Disney will actually put out a calendar post on their social pages, which highlights everything coming along with timelines. This isn't something that they've done previously. So it's actually really nice to see because it does give folks plenty of heads up and then can help people just plan their trips around what's most important to them. So we'll start with what's opening towards the start of the year, and then we're going to work our way back from there. So first up, the Garden View Lounge at Disney's Grand Floridian Resort and Spa is set to reopen early in 2026. We don't actually have an opening timeline yet, but Disney did say this. In early 2026, the Garden View Lounge will reopen with a refreshed look that complements the new lobby design. The space will offer a new tea experience with whimsical Disney touches for guests of all ages. So that's actually really exciting because it has been closed since the pandemic closures way back in March of 2020. So this is actually going to be really nice to see that open again.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with that, right? It's always nice to see kind of these offerings come back after having been closed for so long, right? Some of these have been closed for 5 years, right?
The Little Mermaid show was one of the
when it reopened in May.
Key ones.
Yeah, it was 5 years. I guess it's almost 6 years now.
Crazy.
Gosh, yeah. Time flies.
The pandemic.
Yeah, exactly. And another thing that has kind of flowed under the radar is the new snack stand coming to Toy Story Land at Hollywood Studios. We actually have almost nothing in terms of details.
It's true.
Other than the fact that that area is walled off. And then on the top, you can see that it kind of looks like a popcorn bag that's been turned on its side. So we can reasonably assume that it's going to be popcorn, pretzels, that kind of thing.
That might be a good assumption.
Yeah, but it's at this point, it's pure speculation. So take that with a grain of salt, but we fully expect to hear something about it pretty soon.
Yeah, just almost like movie theater style, maybe candy and all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Kid related, right?
Yeah,
It'll be fun.
Yeah, for sure.
So there's also a free kids dining plan offer that's available all year for Walt Disney World, which will be of particular interest for parties with young children. The deal applies to vacation packages that include a hotel reservation, tickets, and the purchase of the dining plan for all guests aged 10 or older. When those conditions are met, all kids on the reservation aged 3 to 9 will get the dining plan for free. Depending on how many children you have, this can actually be a really good money saver for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And the really nice thing about this offer too is that it can be combined with others,
that's right,
which isn't always the case. So you can actually stack the savings, which is really nice. Depending on what other deals are on, if you're booking this, right, the free dining isn't always the best of all the offers, but in this case, you can stack it. So yeah, it could definitely be some good savings.
Absolutely.
You also have Level 99 opening here in 2026, which is replacing the NBA experience on the west side of Disney Springs. That's over near CityWorks. So for those of you who don't know, and that included me until very recently, right? Level 99 already exists, right? So this is not going to be its first location. It's essentially an interactive gaming complex. So think part arcade, part obstacles / escape room kind of type offerings. So both physical and mental challenges. It's going to have a dining area as well. So think food and drinks, including Detroit style pizza. That's apparently pretty good. And they haven't given an exact timeline for this just yet, but it's rumored to be early in the year. So early in 2026. Only time will tell on that though. So we'll report that here when we know more.
Yeah, that's going to actually add some more entertainment options to Disney Springs, which is never a bad thing. It loosely reminds me of Rec Room, which is actually something similar that we kind of have up here in Canada for a while, where there was pool tables and these are all kinds of gaming.
Axe throwing and different things
lots
that.
Of fun things that you could go do with big groups and stuff like that. So I'm getting the vibe of that, I think.
Yeah, exactly.
And then over at Epcot, Frozen Ever After is actually getting an update. Back in the fall, Disney shared that Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff audio animatronics in the attraction would be getting updated. We now know that this is going to be in February. It's listed right on the attractions page on the Disney website. It's set to close on January 26th and then set to reopen in February. We don't actually have an exact reopening date as of this recording, but a late January closure and a February open implies a really short turnaround time, which is a good thing if you have a trip around this time. The animatronic update will bring the most recent tech to replace the projected faces that are on the current animatronics. you can expect for the end product to be like the animatronics found over at Hong Kong Disneyland and also on Tiana's Bayou Adventure on both coasts. These animatronics are being built off-site and they're going to be installed later this month. And I think this was a great idea on Disney's part.
Yep.
Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah, this is going to be a good change for the attraction for sure. Like, I don't want to discount the tech that was currently in place, right? Because obviously when it was put in, it was cutting edge. But like all things, right, technology, is always advancing.
Especially
and
with Disney, they are constantly.
Yeah, so essentially there's just better out there now, right? So it's nice to see that come to Frozen Ever After as well. January and February, we'll also host the Festival of the Arts, right? We reported on that just a couple episodes ago. So it runs January 16th through February 3rd. And we should see a foodie guide on that like any day now. If it's not already out by the time this episode airs, it's almost certainly going to be this week. So keep checking the Disney Parks blog website if you're waiting for that. That's where they post it. And they'll usually do a social post on the Disney Parks page as well. Yeah. And Dinosaur will also close permanently on February 2nd. So this will be the last of the phased closures for Dinoland USA. So it's officially going to go extinct. And then when that area does reopen after the final closures kind of thing, it's going to stay closed for some time. And when it reopens, it's going to be Tropical Americas, the theming in general. And it's going to have 2 Encanto attractions and a large quick service restaurant. And the dinosaur attraction is being rethemed into Indiana Jones, among a few other surprises, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm honestly really, really excited to see what they are going to do with this area. I think there's so much potential, and I think Disney will knock it out of the park.
For sure.
I have no doubt.
Yeah, agreed.
And I actually really love Encanto, so I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, the movie is really good. The kids really love it too.
And the music and everything. I think it's just going to be really colorful and whimsical.
Yeah, for sure. Perfect for Animal Kingdom.
Absolutely. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad is also set to reopen in the spring of 2026, finally. No exact date was given just yet, but that is the general timeline for now. The ride has been closed for over a year at this point. It closed way back in January of 2025. So by the time it reopens in the spring, it'll have been almost a year and a half. Disney has released tidbits here and there. We know the track was completely refreshed. The cavern scene is also getting some updates. The stalactites and stalagmites will also get new lighting, and that whole scene is going to be more immersive. There may be some other surprises waiting for us when it reopens as well. So we're really, really excited to ride this one once it's opened. I can't wait. This is one of my favorite rides across the entire resort. So I'm really pumped for this one.
For sure. And there's just been a lot of closures in this area of the park just in recent years,
it feels
right?
different there right now.
So like if you think Splash Mountain closed for 18 months, right? While it was being rethemed to Tiana's Bayou Adventure, and that left a big hole in Frontierland. And then that reopened, and then Big Thunder closed, right? And then the Rivers of America and Tom Sawyer Island also closed. So it's definitely going to be nice to have Big Thunder Mountain Railroad back in that area of the park. And then when that whole area reopens, it should be good for several years.
Let's say like by 2030, if villains and all that stuff, my gosh, that place is going to be flooded. Everybody's going to want to spend so much time in that area with the villains and the cars and Tiana's and Big Thunder. Oh my gosh, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah, and I think we'll see cars before villains.
I think so too.
So like let's say 2028, 2029 range, and I think 2030 and beyond is a realistic timeline
I think
for
so, but
villains.
That's going to be here before you know it. Honestly, time flies. So
yeah, for sure. And then still at Magic Kingdom, Buzz Lightyear Space Ranger Spin closed way back in August of 2025. It's getting a major refurb as well. So the attraction is getting a new robot named Buddy in the opening scene, and we found out in a recent reel that it's she. Buddy is a
there you go.
woman, so a woman robot. So there you go. It's also getting new ride vehicles, new interactive targets that are going to essentially react when they're shot, which is pretty cool, and handheld blasters. This to me is probably the thing I'm most looking forward to.
I agree.
Because I think it's going to add something extra to the attraction, right? Just having the ability to kind of handle your blaster freely. It's just going to make it more user friendly for people of all ages, right? Kids and grandparents are just, I think, going to find it a little bit more easy to handle kind of thing.
I completely
because even
agree.
Toy Story Mania with like the mounted cannon and the pulling of the string, it's not like if you're super young, like our daughter Sophia, she gets a little bit frustrated,
she
right?
Does.
So I think just the fact
she's
that
competitive.
just the fact that you're going to be able to hold this thing and point it wherever you need to, kind of thing, I think is only going to be good things.
Absolutely, huge bonus for sure. I'm really, really looking forward to this. I do like shooter attractions like this and Toy Story in general. Our son Caleb is also a huge fan, so I think he's going to really love this refresh, and a lot of people are going to likely love this as well.
Yeah, agreed 100%.
Disney After Hours events are also coming back for 2026. These events are held on select nights in Magic Kingdom, Hollywood Studios, and Epcot. These give you 3 hours of park time with reduced crowds because the events are limited. So you'll be able to prioritize getting on so many attractions, as many as you want, really. Your ticket gives you access to the park at 7 p.m. And then the event usually runs from 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. or 9:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m., depending on the park and the day. Your ticket also includes popcorn, select ice cream treats, and bottled beverages. We've actually never done an after-hours event like this, so we can't speak to it personally, but we have heard from friends of ours that it's a good experience overall. So if that sounds interesting to you, then it is back for this year.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking like people who don't want a rope drop.
Yeah.
That might be a good option for them.
Yeah, for sure. Or, if you just want to do a bunch of rides and you're less interested in doing some of the other offerings, it's a good way to, you don't even have to go into the park that day. You can just do an after hours event. So
and get so much done.
Yeah, exactly. And then similar to those after hours events, you also have the H2O Glow events at the water park. So they're returning for this year. Typhoon Lagoon will host again this year, right? So your ticket for the event gives you 3 hours of water park time after hours where you're going to see, again, lower crowds. It also gives you complimentary popcorn, ice cream treats, and select beverages. The park is all illuminated as well, which is fun. And there's also like a DJ playing music. So yeah, just kind of a party vibe. Again, we've not done any H2O Glow nights, but we've heard good things. So yeah, if you're not wanting to commit a full day at the water parks, this is a good way to just get a bunch of rides done just in a few hours, kind of late evening.
Absolutely.
Spring will also bring the Flower and Garden Festival over at Epcot. So this festival is set to run March 4th to June 1st this year. So it's a nice long festival, right? It's basically 3 months of time to experience everything that it has to offer. And it fully encapsulates the spring break season as well. And by extension, Easter. So yeah, lots of folks are going to be able to take advantage of that because a lot of people travel during that time of year. And as the festival gets closer, we're actually going to get more details. So think like the performers for the Garden Rocks concert series and the foodie guide, which we always love to see the foodie guide.
Absolutely. It's always exciting when that comes out. And then over at Hollywood Studios, Rock and Roller Coaster starring Aerosmith will close permanently on March 2nd. When it does reopen in the summer of 2026, it'll be rethemed to Rock and Roller Coaster starring the Muppets. We know that there will be a new pre-show, which is going to feature the Muppets. The pre-show with Aerosmith has already been taken down in preparation for this retheme. We don't have an exact reopening date as of right now, just summer of 2026. What we will say, though, is that March 2nd to summer of 2026 is actually a pretty quick turnaround, meaning the attraction won't be closed for very long. For us, this means that the retheme will be minor. Aside from the animatronics for the pre-show, when you think about the inside of the attraction, there are some traffic signs and similar things as the coaster zooms by in terms of the size of the projects Disney has done in the past. Changing these will be on the lower end when it comes to difficulty to replace. So we're thinking that the retheme will be pretty minor in that sense, and that's why the closure will not be very long.
Yeah, totally agree with that. When you think of rides like, T.I. and Rose Bayou Adventure, which was closed for 18 months, there was like, a big change to that. So we don't want to minimize this change,
True.
But all signs point that it's going to be a more modest retheme. I would say.
Completely think that that's exactly it.
Yeah. And then on May 22nd, Smuggler's Run is going to have a new scenes or gameplay or whatever you want to call it. Essentially, it's going to feature Mandalorian and Grogu, which is in line with the opening of the film around that time. It's going to feature more autonomy from you, essentially. So the crew, right? So you're going to have more freedom to kind of pick your destination, which is going to include new destinations like Bespin, the second Death Star around Endor, and then Coruscant. There's also going to be more control coming from the engineer, which is going to make a lot of guests happy because if you're the engineer, typically speaking, you're at the back. And I think, what do? You fire the harpoons.
That's about it.
Yeah. And there's
maybe push a button or two.
Yeah. So it's a pretty sleepy position. Yeah. So they're going to have more on their plate, which is really nice to see.
Yes, agreed.
And then also this summer, Animation Courtyard is going to reopen with a bunch of new offerings. So Star Wars Launch Bay, which closed recently, is going to become the magic of Disney animation. So this is actually inspired by the Once Upon a Studio short that was released for the 100th anniversary of the Walt Disney Company. The new building is going to take inspiration from Walt Disney Studios, like proper in Burbank, complete with the Sorcerer Mickey hat on the front of the building. There's going to be an area named Off the Page, representing the different departments of animation. So story, layout, hand-drawn animation, computer animation, lighting, and effects. And each one of these is going to feature a meet and greet and kind of fun photo ops, as well as an animation experience, not unlike what they're doing over at the conservation station at Animal Kingdom. You're also going to find Drawn to Wonderland, which is going to be a playground themed to Alice in Wonderland with a color palette inspired by Mary Blair and
That'll
her
be
art.
Fun.
Yeah, totally. And just, the whole courtyard is going to be refreshed. And again, it's taking that influence from the studios in Burbank, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's right. And the Disney Junior Play and Dance will also receive a refresh and become the Disney Junior Play and Dance Mickey Mouse Clubhouse live show. Sorry, that was a lot to say there.
It's a mouthful, yeah.
Disney shared a concept art photo of what we can expect it'll look like when it opens, and it actually looks pretty cool. It was kind of sleepy in that area of the park, so this should spark some new life into that area for sure.
I agree with that. Yeah, for sure.
Cool Kids Summer is also coming back this year. A reminder that this was held over the summer months and included special ticket offers, family-friendly fun all across property with offerings like Goofy Core over at the Communicore Hall at Epcot. Disney is promising new and refreshed offerings in 2026, so we should hear more about this as the summer months approach.
Yep, exactly.
Soarin' at Epcot is getting a new show as well to celebrate USA's 250th anniversary. Disney says that the show will feature the U.S. from sea to shining sea, as well as highlight some of the country's natural beauty and iconic cityscapes. This is coming to both coasts in summer of 2026, and it will for sure open in time for the 4th of July celebrations.
Yeah, which makes total sense.
Yes, it does.
And it's no secret for parents of younger kids, right, that Bluey is massively popular, right? And good news for you guys, because she and her sister Bingo are coming to the conservation station at Disney's Animal Kingdom this summer. There's going to be a meet and greet with both of them back there, along with some like fun themed games theme to the show for your littles to take part in. They're also coming to Disneyland on March 22nd at the Fantasyland Theater at Disneyland Park. So that's going to be transformed into Bluey's school. Throughout the day, you can expect to see Bluey and Bingo on stage with actors and comedians, musicians, and that's going to bring games and music from the episodes to the parks, which is pretty cool. And if you happen to be sailing on a Disney Cruise Line ship, they are also coming to domestic sailings for meet and greets and dance parties. And yeah, just Bluey's all the rage right now, and Disney's all over it.
And why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, exactly. And D23, the ultimate fan event, is coming back to Anaheim in 2026. So this happens every other year, right? With the odd years being the Destination D23 event in Walt Disney World. We're likely going to get more news on all of the projects across the parks and the expansions, right? Which is what we really want to hear about. So think Avatar and the Esplanade expansion over at Disneyland Resort. And then, all the fleet updates from DCL and all of the things coming out of Walt Disney World, right? So think like Villains Land, Cars Land, Monsters Inc. Land,
so
Tropical Americas. We should hear, I'm assuming we're going to get some updates on all of that.
I would think so, yeah.
So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, D23 is always exciting for that. Just the hype around it. They bring celebrities usually in and everything like that. It's really exciting. I hope we get some news on the Villains Land at Magic Kingdom, because that one has actually been pretty quiet since its initial reveal back in 2024.
It's definitely the one we've heard the least
Yes, so
about.
I'm really excited just to even get some more concept art or anything really.
Yeah, exactly.
The water park benefit that was available all last year, where you would have access to the water park that was open on your check-in day if you were staying at a Disney resort, is also back for 2026. But not for the whole year like it was in 2025. It is actually coming back for the summer of 2026, but no dates have been announced as of yet. So we're going to keep our ear to the ground for that one, and we'll report here when we know more about that.
Yep, exactly.
Outside of that, Disney has also said that the Food and Wine and the Festival of the Holidays are coming back to Epcot, and Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, and Jollywood Nights are all returning to Hollywood Studios and Magic Kingdom for this year. None of which is surprising, but it is nice to get the confirmation directly from Disney for that. We don't have dates for any of these yet. Those will be announced as each event gets closer.
Yeah, like you said, right? We fully expected all of this to come back, so none of that is surprising. But like Lucy said, the dates don't usually come out until like closer to that time of year. So that's not unusual. But yeah, like we said at the start of the episode, getting kind of a roadmap of everything coming in the year is not something Disney has always done in the past. So it is really nice to see that.
Agreed.
For this year. So yeah, that's a pretty good roundup of everything that's coming to Walt Disney World in 2026 that we know of so far. For us, like I said at the start of the episode, I'm in Walt Disney World as we speak, as this episode airs, right? We don't have any immediate trips outside of that plan for the year, but we do intend on doing probably a fall trip at Walt Disney World with the kids, but nothing is set in stone as of this moment. And we also have that 7-night sailing on the Treasure booked for early of 2027. But yeah, again, that's already pushing into 2027. We're more than likely going to do something else between now and then, but that's, TBD at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
With that said, thank you for joining us today to talk Disney. If you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to the podcast so you don't miss any future episodes. And as always, if you could leave us a rating and review, it would be greatly appreciated. If you choose to do so, you can leave reviews right on Apple Podcasts. And for Spotify, you can leave a rating.
You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Let's Go to Disney, as well as on our Facebook page, Let's Go to Disney. We share some helpful reels here as well as some fun ones. The link tree in the show notes will take you to all of our socials.
Have a great day, and we'll see you real soon.